My beloved child, I am speaking to you now because this moment matters more than you realize. I have watched you pause, hesitate, glance back over your shoulder as if something behind you is calling louder than my voice. I know the weight you carry. I know the questions you don't say out loud. And I know how close you are, closer than ever, to turning away at the very moment heaven is leaning toward you. Listen carefully. This is not coincidence. You didn't arrive here by accident. I have been drawing you in quietly, patiently, even when you thought I was silent. Especially when you thought I was silent. You mistook my stillness for absence, but I was never gone. I was watching how you would respond when the path narrowed, when comfort faded, when obedience cost you something real. You see, I don't interrupt storms just to prove I can. I wait to see who will look for me while the waves rise. And you did. Even when your faith trembled, you still looked. That matters to me more than flawless belief. That is why I am asking you now. Don't turn your back on me at this point. Not now. Not when what you've been praying for is already unfolding beneath the surface. There are things happening that you cannot see yet. Doors aligning. Conversations being prepared. Hearts being softened in places you gave up on. I am working in layers deeper than your logic can reach. What feels like delay is actually precision. What feels like loss is making room. But if you walk away now, you won't see how it all connects. I know you're tired. I know you're tempted to say, I've done enough. But hear me, what you call the end is only the edge. You're standing at the threshold where faith stops being theory and starts becoming testimony. That's why the resistance feels heavier than before. That's why doubt has been louder lately. Pressure increases right before breakthrough. Don't skip this moment. Something huge is waiting for you on the other side of your yes. You've been asking me for clarity, but I've been watching your trust. You've been asking me for signs, but I've been shaping your strength. If I showed you everything at once, you would rush ahead of my timing. And timing matters. Timing protects you. Timing prepares you to carry what you're asking for without it breaking you. Stay with me. Stay till the end. Not just of this message, but of this season. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified because you struggle. I chose you knowing every weakness you would face. I accounted for every stumble. My plans don't collapse because of your fear. I am not asking you to be fearless. I am asking you to be faithful while afraid. Keep walking. Keep listening. Keep your heart turned toward me even when your emotions beg you to turn away. This next step, yes, the one you're avoiding, is the very place where I will beat you in a way you've never experienced before. Don't look back now. Don't let old pain speak louder than my promise. Don't let temporary discomfort steal an eternal outcome. Remain. Trust. Watch what I reveal next. You felt it, didn't you? That quiet tightening in your chest after the last words settled into you. That wasn't pressure. That was recognition. Something in you remembered me, even before your mind could explain why. I am speaking again because I will not let you misunderstand this moment. Too much is at stake, and you are standing closer to the center of my will than you have ever been before. There is a reason old fears have been resurfacing lately. There is a reason distractions suddenly feel louder, heavier, more demanding of your attention. It is not because you are moving backward. It is because you are moving forward, and what once slept comfortably in the shadows is being exposed by the light you are walking toward. I am allowing this so you can finally see what has been quietly shaping your decisions without your permission. You've learned how to survive. I am teaching you how to surrender. There is a difference. Survival keeps you guarded. Surrender makes you free. And freedom, real freedom, requires trust beyond what you can control. That's why part of you resists. You fear losing yourself, but listen to me. You were never meant to carry this life alone. The weight you call responsibility was never meant to crush your breath. I am asking you to lay it down, not because you are weak, but because I am strong enough to carry what you cannot. I see how you replay moments in your mind, wondering where things went wrong. I see how you question whether you heard me correctly back then. But I am not bound by your past confusion. I redeem even the detours. I use them to build discernment in you. Nothing was wasted, not the waiting, not the tears, not even the mistakes you still regret. They have positioned you to hear me more clearly now. What you don't see yet is how close you are to understanding why I asked you to let go of certain people, certain plans, certain versions of yourself. You thought it was punishment. It was preparation. You thought it was rejection. It was protection. I was clearing space so what comes next would not have to compete with what no longer fits. I need you attentive now. Not anxious. Not striving. Attentive. Because I am about to shift how you hear me. Guidance will come differently. Not louder, but deeper. Through conviction instead of urgency. Through peace instead of pressure. And if you rush past this moment, you may miss the subtlety of how I am leading you next. Don't skip this. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Not in the distance, but in alignment. The moment you stop negotiating with your fear and say yes without conditions, you will feel it. A clarity that doesn't shout. A certainty that doesn't need validation. That is my voice settling inside you, steady and unshakable. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for presence. Stay with me here. Let me finish what I started in you. There is more unfolding than you can imagine, and you are not behind. You are right on time. There is something you haven't noticed yet, and I need you to slow your breathing for a moment so you can hear me clearly. The reason everything feels unusually quiet right now is because I am removing the noise you once depended on. I am teaching you how to recognize me without signs, without urgency, without the emotional rush you used to mistake for confirmation. This is maturity, my child, and it feels unfamiliar because it requires stillness instead of reaction. You are no longer in the season where I chase your attention with intensity. You are in the season where I invite your agreement. That shift is subtle, and many turn away right here because they think I have stopped speaking. I haven't. I am speaking in a way that requires trust rather than excitement. And trust, as you're learning, exposes everything in you that still wants control. You've been asking why certain prayers haven't been answered the way you imagined. But I need you to understand something deeper. Some prayers are not denied. They are delayed because the version of you who prayed them is not yet the version who can steward the answer. I am not withholding from you. I am shaping you. What I am preparing to place in your hands requires a heart that doesn't panic when things feel uncertain. You are being invited into alignment, not urgency. Into obedience without explanation. Into movement without full visibility. That's why I asked you to walk away from what felt familiar even though it felt safe. Familiarity can quietly replace faith. And I refuse to let you settle for a life that looks stable but never becomes significant. I know part of you wonders if you misheard me when you took that step. I know the silence afterward made you second-guess everything. But hear me now. Silence is not abandonment. Silence is where roots grow. I was strengthening what no one else could see so that when the weight of what's coming rests on you, You will collapse under it. You are closer than you think. Not to an ending, but to a revealing. Pieces are about to connect in a way that will make you realize why I insisted you keep going when it would have been easier to stop. That inner resistance you feel right now is not a warning. It's the last negotiation your old self is making before transformation becomes unavoidable. Don't skip this moment. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and it won't arrive with chaos or spectacle. It will arrive with certainty, with peace that settles so deeply you'll know it didn't come from you. That's how you will recognize me in the next step, not by fear, not by pressure, but by a calm confidence that defies your circumstances. I am not distant. I am intentional. I am not late. I am precise. And I am not finished with you, not even close. Keep your heart turned toward me. Keep choosing obedience when emotions argue otherwise. What I am unfolding now will soon make sense, and when it does, you will understand why I asked you not to turn your back on me when you were only one step away. You are standing at a crossing where old instincts no longer work, and that is unsettling for you. The habits that once guided you, the patterns you relied on, the way you made decisions before, they feel strangely ineffective now. That's not failure. That's transition. I am intentionally allowing what once sustained you to lose its power so you will learn to lean into me in a deeper, truer way. This is where many pull back, not because they stop believing, but because they realize belief is about to cost them something internal. I see the private negotiations in your heart, the silent bargains you make with yourself. If I just hold on to this one thing, if I keep this option open, if I don't fully surrender yet. But partial surrender keeps you divided, and division drains your strength. I want you whole. I want you free. You've outgrown the version of faith that needs constant reassurance. I am inviting you into a relationship that rests on knowing, not needing. That's why I'm asking you to walk without immediate confirmation. That's why you feel exposed. Dependence on me always feels risky to the part of you that learned to protect itself. But protection is not the same as peace. I need you to hear this clearly. What you are afraid of losing was never meant to define you. It served a season, yes, but seasons change. If you cling to what I am asking you to release, it will eventually restrict what I am trying to give you. I am not taking away joy. I am making room for it to arrive in a form you couldn't receive before. You wonder why I haven't explained everything yet, why I haven't shown you the full picture. But if I did, you would try to manage it instead of trusting me with it. And trust is the very thing I am strengthening in you right now. Not loud trust, quiet trust. The kind that stands firm even when emotions fluctuate. Pay attention to the small shifts. The way certain temptations no longer satisfy. The way certain conversations feel hollow. The way your spirit reacts when you consider going back to what I already delivered you from. That discomfort is not confusion. It's discernment awakening. You are learning to recognize what aligns with my presence and what doesn't. Don't skip this stage. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's closer than you think. But it will only reveal itself to a heart that stops reaching backward for security and starts reaching upward for direction. I am asking you to trust me beyond what you can explain to others, and even beyond what you can explain to yourself. You are not losing ground. You are shedding weight. You are not being delayed. You are being refined. And refinement always feels like uncertainty before it feels like clarity. But clarity is coming, not as a sudden rush, but as a steady unfolding that will make you realize you were being guided the entire time. Remain with me. Don't turn away now. The next step will require courage, but it will also bring confirmation so deep you will wonder how you ever doubted. I am preparing you to see, to hear, and to receive in a way you never have before. And when it happens, you will know this moment, right here, was the turning point. You've been sensing it in the quiet moments, the subtle urgency that doesn't come from fear, but from alignment. This is where understanding begins to replace endurance. I am drawing your attention not to what you lack, but to what has been forming inside you while you waited. You thought waiting was passive. It never was. Every pause strengthened discernment. Every unanswered question trained your spirit to listen beyond noise. Now, I am inviting you to recognize something profound. The discomfort you feel is not a warning to retreat. It is confirmation that you are no longer meant to live on the edges of my promises. You are being called inward, deeper than habits, deeper than surface faith, deeper than borrowed convictions. This is where truth becomes personal, where belief becomes bond. I know you've wondered if you missed your moment. I know you've replayed decisions, imagining alternate outcomes. But I don't work in missed chances the way you think. When I guide, I redeem time. What looks delayed to you is often protection from arriving too early. You weren't ready then. You are becoming ready now. Pay attention to how your desires are changing. What once excited you now feels empty. What once frightened you now feels familiar. That shift is not random. It is evidence that I am rewriting your inner compass. I am teaching you to want what lasts, to choose what aligns, to release what no longer agrees with the direction I'm taking you. There is a responsibility coming with the clarity you've been asking for. That's why I waited. Insight without grounding can overwhelm you. Authority without humility can isolate you. I am shaping you to carry what's next with steadiness, not haste. With wisdom, not impulse. With love, not fear. You don't need to announce this change to anyone. Some transformations are meant to remain quiet until they are complete. Let me finish this work in you without interruption. Let me establish you without explanation. When the time comes, the fruit will speak louder than any words you could offer. Don't skip this moment. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will not arrive with force. It will arrive with assurance. You will recognize it by the peace that settles in your spirit, by the clarity that doesn't argue, by the confidence that doesn't seek approval. I am teaching you to trust the knowing I place within you. Not every instruction will come with detail. Not every step will come with confirmation. But every step will be covered. I am not sending you ahead alone. I am walking with you, closer than your next breath. If you feel exposed, it's because I am removing what once shielded you from growth. If you feel uncertain, it's because certainty is no longer coming from external signs but from internal alignment. This is how mature faith feels, quiet, grounded, unshaken by circumstance. Hold steady now. Resist the urge to rush or retreat. The ground beneath you is solid, even if it feels unfamiliar. I am about to reveal why this season required so much patience, so much pruning, so much trust without proof. And when you see it, when the purpose unfolds in front of you, you will understand why I asked you not to turn your back on me when everything in you wanted answers first. My beloved child, as you've been sensing that inner alignment forming, hear me now. This is where your faith steps into motion. You've prayed, use me, Lord, and this is how I am answering you. By inviting you to help carry my word to hearts that are still waiting in the dark. When you sow through Super Thanks, YouTube memberships, or PayPal, you are pouring oil into a living flame, and that fire will reach souls you may never meet on earth, but will rejoice within eternity. What you release today becomes a harvest tomorrow, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing back into your life. I see your generosity as worship, rising like incense before me, opening heavens over your household. The PayPal link is in the video description. This is not a transaction. It is a prophetic act. Give boldly, give joyfully, and watch me multiply what you place in my hands. Step forward now, sow, and let the river of blessing flow. There is a truth rising inside you now, and it's unsettling because it demands a response. Not later, not someday. Now, you are realizing that neutrality is no longer an option. Standing still has become more exhausting than moving forward, and that's because I am closing the space between invitation and decision. I am asking you to choose, not out of pressure, but out of clarity. You have reached the point where awareness turns into responsibility. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you cannot unknow. That's why your heart feels heavier lately. Not with fear, but with meaning. You are beginning to understand that your life is not just about getting through days. It is about carrying something sacred through them. I have been preparing you quietly for influence you didn't think you wanted, impact you didn't feel ready for. But readiness is not about confidence, it's about availability. And you have become available in ways you don't even recognize yet. Your empathy has deepened. Your patience has stretched. Your discernment has sharpened. These are not accidents. They are evidence. You wondered why certain people drifted away when you needed them most. You wondered why familiar support faded just as the calling became clearer. But hear me. I was protecting you from leaning on voices that could not follow you where you're going. Some connections cannot survive elevation, not because they are bad, but because they are seasonal. I removed them gently, even when it hurt, so you would not confuse comfort with confirmation. You are learning now that obedience often comes before understanding, that faith is not always loud, that courage doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes courage looks like staying when everything in you wants to escape. Sometimes faith looks like trusting me when nothing around you seems to change. That's the kind of faith that moves unseen things. This next stretch will test your consistency, not your belief. Your ability to remain steady when there is no applause, no immediate reward, no visible outcome. This is where many grow weary, not because the path is wrong, but because the process is quiet. But quiet does not mean empty. Quiet is where foundations are secured. Don't skip this. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will require you to be rooted, not reactive. Grounded, not rushed. I am not asking you to figure everything out. I am asking you to stay aligned while I bring things together in my time. You are closer to confirmation than you think, but confirmation will come after commitment, not before. That is the order that protects your heart. If I revealed everything now, you would be tempted to trust the outcome instead of trusting me. And I want you anchored in me, not in results. Notice how your prayers are changing. Fewer demands, more listening, less urgency, more surrender. That shift is not weakness, it's depth. You are learning how to walk with me, not just walk toward what you want from me. That relationship will sustain you when outcomes fluctuate. I know the unknown still feels heavy. I know the future doesn't look clear yet. But clarity is coming in layers, not flashes. Piece by piece, step by step. And with every step, your confidence will grow, not in yourself, but in my faithfulness. Remain here. Remain open. Remain willing. You are not waiting on me. I am positioning you. And what is about to unfold will require the strength you've been building in silence. Do not turn away now. You are not standing in uncertainty. You are standing in the doorway of purpose. Something inside you has already shifted, even if you can't fully name it yet. You don't respond the way you used to. You don't react as quickly. You don't cling as tightly. A change didn't come from discipline. It came from exposure to truth. You've been standing in my presence longer than you realize, and presence always transforms before it explains. I need you to understand this moment clearly. I am not asking you to become someone new. I am calling you back to who you were before fear taught you to shrink, before disappointment taught you to guard your heart, before survival taught you to settle. What I am awakening in you now is not foreign. It is familiar at the deepest level of your soul. You have felt the tension between who you've been and who you are becoming. That tension is holy. Don't rush to resolve it. Don't numb it. Let it stretch you. Growth always feels like pressure before it feels like expansion. And you are expanding your capacity to trust, to discern, to love without losing yourself. There are assignments ahead that require the version of you who no longer needs constant reassurance. That's why I've been teaching you to stand without leaning on outcomes, to walk without applause, to obey without explanation. This isn't about proving faith. It's about embodying it, quietly, steadily, authentically. You may have noticed that some doors are no longer opening no matter how hard you push. That's not resistance, that's redirection. I am closing what would distract you from what actually fulfills you. And yes, it's uncomfortable when something you expected doesn't materialize. But trust me, what you're being spared from would have cost you more than you were willing to admit. I am doing a deeper work now, aligning your desires with your destiny. Not everything you want is wrong, but not everything you want is ready. Some things need to mature. Some things need to be purified. Some things need to wait until your heart can hold them without turning them into idols. I care too much about you to rush that process. Don't skip this season of discernment. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, not just a breakthrough, but a knowing. A clarity that settles so deeply it won't be shaken by opinions or circumstances. When it comes, you won't need to ask anyone if it's me. You'll know. I see how you've been tempted to look back, to revisit old patterns, old comforts, old versions of yourself, especially on days when progress feels invisible. But hear me, going back will only delay what is already prepared. You didn't come this far to retreat into familiarity. You came this far to step into purpose. What you are learning now will soon be required of you. The patience, the restraint, a listening, the courage to move without forcing outcomes. These are not small things. They are the marks of someone I trust with greater responsibility. And yes, I trust you more than you trust yourself right now. Remain attentive. Remain teachable. Remain honest with me about your fears instead of pretending they don't exist. I am not threatened by your questions. I am not disappointed by your hesitation. I am guiding you through it, not around it. Very soon, the uncertainty will give way to direction. The waiting will give way to movement. And when it does, you will realize why I asked you again and again not to turn your back on me. This unfolding, this becoming, required your presence all the way through. Hold steady. The next revelation will not come from striving, but from alignment. And you are closer than you think. You are beginning to feel the weight of clarity now, and it's different from excitement. It doesn't right you. It grounds you. This is how you know I am near. When truth settles instead of stirs, when peace anchors instead of pushes, that is me steadying you for what comes next. I am not rushing you because what I am entrusting to you must be carried with wisdom, not impulse. There is a quiet strength forming in you that you didn't ask for but desperately needed. You used to measure progress by movement, by visible results, by signs you could point to. Now you're learning to recognize progress by alignment, by how quickly you return to me when you feel shaken, by how gently you respond where you once reacted, by how you pause before speaking instead of rushing to defend yourself. That is growth you cannot fake. I know you're still tempted to ask, is this really happening? Yes, it is, but not in the way you expected. I am not building something flashy in you. I am building something unshakable. And what is unshakable must be forged quietly, away from constant validation. That's why this season has felt lonely at times, not because you were abandoned, but because you were being refined. You are starting to see how I've been answering prayers you forgot you prayed. Not by changing circumstances overnight, but by changing how you stand within them. You asked for peace, and I gave you endurance. You asked for direction, and I gave you discernment. You asked for strength, and I gave you surrender. Each answer prepared you for the next, even when you didn't recognize it as an answer at the time. There is a moment approaching, a decision, a conversation, a step that will require you to act from this new place within you. That's why I've been steadying you. That's why I've been asking you to stay present. The old version of you would have right ahead or pulled back. The version of you emerging now will move with intention. Don't skip what I'm showing you in these quiet hours. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will reveal itself, not through force, but through alignment so clear you won't second guess it. You will feel a settled confidence, not because every question is answered, but because you know who is leading you. You no longer need to fear getting it wrong the way you once did. I am guiding your steps more closely than you realize. Even your pauses are protected. Even your questions are part of the process. I am not grading you on perfection. I am walking with you in progression. I see the moment when doubt tries to whisper, "What if this is as far as it goes?" That voice is not truth. It's fatigue speaking. Rest does not mean retreat. Pausing does not mean quitting. I am allowing you to breathe here so you can move forward with clarity instead of pressure. You are not being prepared for something small. You are being prepared for something that requires steadiness of heart, clarity of spirit, and humility of posture. That kind of preparation takes time. And you have stayed. You have listened. You have not turned away, even when you didn't fully understand. Remain here just a little longer. What I am about to make clear will connect the waiting, the pruning, and the quiet obedience into one unmistakable direction. And when that direction becomes clear, you will move, not out of fear of missing out, but out of confidence that I am with you. Do not turn your back now. You are not on the edge of confusion. You are on the edge of confirmation. This is the moment where everything you've been carrying begins to settle into meaning. Not because every question is answered, but because your heart finally recognizes where it belongs. You are no longer reaching blindly. You are standing in alignment, and alignment always brings a quiet authority that fear cannot imitate. I want you to notice how different you feel now compared to when this journey began. You didn't become louder, you became steadier. You didn't gain control, you gained trust. That is how I know you are ready for what comes next. What I place before you will not require striving. It will require courage rooted in peace. And peace is something I have been cultivating in you intentionally. You once thought the greatest danger was failure. Now you are learning the greater danger was walking away too soon. I protected you from that. Even when you felt uncertain. Even when your emotions begged for relief instead of growth. I held you here because I knew what you could not yet see, that staying would change you more than leaving ever could. What unfolds after this will not look like chaos. It will look like clarity, like steps that feel firm beneath your feet, like decisions that no longer drain you, like a confidence that doesn't need approval to survive. This is the fruit of staying when it would have been easier to turn away. I know you still feel the weight of responsibility. It doesn't disappear, but now it rests differently. It no longer crushes you, it grounds you, because you finally understand that you are not carrying your future alone. I am with you in it, before you, within you, around you, and nothing ahead will catch me by surprise. There will be moments after this when the path still feels demanding, when growth stretches you again, when obedience asks for more. But you will remember this, how I met you here, how I spoke to you, how I steadied you. Let that memory anchor you. Let it remind you that I do not abandon what I begin. Don't skip what comes next in your life. Stay till the end of what I am building in you. Something huge has been waiting, not just a breakthrough, not just an answer, but a becoming. And you have stepped into it by choosing trust over retreat. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not overlooked. You are chosen, positioned, and prepared in ways you will continue to understand more clearly as you move forward. Walk with confidence, not because the road is easy, but because I am faithful. Keep your heart open. Keep your spirit attentive. Keep your steps aligned with my voice, even when it whispers instead of roars. I will guide you. I will correct you. I will sustain you. And I will finish what I started. You did not turn your back on me. You stayed. And because you stayed, you will see what others walk away from too early. Amen. My beloved child, you stayed, and heaven noticed. Now I am inviting you to take the next sacred step, not away from me, but deeper into my mission to awaken hearts across the world. You said, Father, let my life matter. And I tell you now, your giving is a seed that carries eternal weight. When you support through Super Thanks, YouTube memberships, or PayPal, you are joining me in sending light where shadows still linger, and that seed will return to you as peace, favor, and open doors. I bless every gift as loaves and fishes, multiplied far beyond what you release. The PayPal link is waiting in the video description. This moment is holy, and it will not come again in the same way. Give with an open heart, stretch your faith, and let generosity become your worship. Act now, sow abundantly, and receive the blessing I have prepared for you and your family. My beloved child, before you leave this sacred moment, I want you to hype this video, not as noise, but as a declaration. When you press hype, you are saying, Father, I will not turn my back now. I will amplify your voice. Hype this message as an act of agreement, as a signal in the spirit that this word must travel beyond you, beyond this screen, to the ones who are 1 minute away from walking away. Let the world see that you chose to stand, to stay, to lift this message high so others don't turn their backs either. Now listen closely. When this video ends, I want you to comment and declare something bold. Write it plainly. Write it with faith. I will not turn my back on God, where I stayed, and I'm ready for what's next. Let your words become a marker, a public altar, a testimony that seals what I have spoken to you today. Your comment is not small. It releases courage into others who are still deciding whether to stay or scroll away. And finally, my beloved, subscribe not just to a channel but to a calling. When you subscribe, you are saying, Father, I want to keep hearing you. I want to stay positioned for your voice. This is how I keep you connected, fed, strengthened, and ready when the next word arrives right on time. Subscribe now and remain under the flow of what I am speaking in this hour. Stay close. Stay listening. Stay faithful. Amen.